Parshas Mikeitz has a number of extraordinary features, many of which are repeated elsewhere in the Torah in different forms, but one which is brought to life through the medium of Maisa Avos Siman Labanim, and through the stories that we read in all of Sefer Bereshis, which makes Sefer Bereshis so wonderful for all Kindalach to learn it, even though you're supposed to start with Vayikra, with Kedusha. The Sefer Bereshis is just chock-loaded with the most fantastic stories. It's our job as adults to refresh ourselves and to remind ourselves that these are not stories, but these are object lessons for us in life. There are two ways to begin this talk. I'll start with one way. Perhaps it's not the right way, but it's good. It's good. In Pirkei Avos, Perek Beis, Mishnah Gimel, the Perek says, "Have Yezihirin b'Rishus." Be careful with Rishus. Rishus is generally translated as the government. She'ein karven lo la'adam elo l'tzorech atzmam. They only become friends with you for their own needs. Nirin ka'oivim b'shas hana'asan. They appear to be your friend when it's good for them. But when things go bad for people, as things could, life is a circle, things go round and round, they're nowhere there when you need them. We've seen this happen so many times. Now, in the first half of Parshas Mikeitz, we have in exquisite detail, Paro's dreams. The story of Paro's dreams. It's repeated again. And Yosef repeats it one more time as he interprets it. The details here are pasuk after pasuk after pasuk after pasuk. And as we know, there are many great halachas in the Torah, which we learn out from only Ramazim, only a letter here and a letter there. One of the details in the story, and one of the, what one would think would be one of the least important features of the story, is the number of times that we go through the pasuk of Sukkim, and we start to keep track of each and every time Paro spoke to Yosef. I find 5 of them. I'm going to read them to you. They pull Yosef out of the bar right by Sheni. In the pasuk Tezvav it says, he comes to Paro and he says, "Vayomer Paro el Yosef chalom chalamti." That's number 1. Number 2, pasuk Yud Zayin, "Vaydaber Paro el Yosef b'chalom hinei omid al sfas hayaor." Number 3, after the whole thing is done, and he explains it to the dream, by Shlishi, it says, "Vayomer Paro el Yosef achrei Yehudiya Elokim oschos koldos ein novam v'chacham kamocha." That's number 3. Number 4, the next 2 psukim later, "Vayomer Paro el Yosef rein asad Yosef kol eretz Mitzrayim." And number 5, "Vayomer Paro el Yosef ani Paro uviladecha lo yorim ish es yodo." I did that a little too fast, maybe? Okay, you can look up these psukim. Number 1, Perek Mem Aleph, pasuk Tezvav. Number 2, Perek Mem Aleph, pasuk Yud Zayin. Perek Mem Aleph, pasuk Lamed Tes. Perek Mem Aleph, pasuk Mem Aleph, and the 5th one, pasuk Mem Daled. I'll read 2 words of each one of these 5 times to you, and in 1 second you'll see what the difference is. Vayomer Paro, Vaydaber Paro, Vayomer Paro, Vayomer Paro, Vayomer Paro. 4 out of the 5 of them are Vayomer Paro. One of them, number 2, is Vaydaber Paro. Now we all know that Amir is a Loshen Raka and Dibur is a Loshen Kasher. Why is that pasuk? Pasuk Yud Zayin, Perek Mem Aleph, say Vaydaber Paro. We'll go back again and we'll start from the beginning. Paro says to Yosef, "I dreamt a dream, Vayomer Paro," the first one. Nobody can explain it to me, and I heard that you can interpret dreams. What is Yosef answering him? I left this one out because that was not part of the Paro talking to Yosef. Here's Yosef answering Paro. Vayayin Yosef as Paro lemor bilodai or bilodoi Elokim yaner shlom Paro. Immediately followed by number 2, by Daber Paro El Yosef, Bachalomi Hine Omer Asfasayor. Then all the other ones, after he gives them the great interpretation, back to Vayomer Paro. Something upset Paro. That he switched from Vayomer Paro to Daber Paro. Not only that, the Beis Halevi goes so far as to say that Paro tried to trick Yosef. He used a phrase in his description of the dream which was not there in the original dream. The Beis Halevi points this out. He uses a lashon which was not in the original description as the Torah described it, and used the word dalos. Beis Halevi goes so far as to say that Paro tried to trick Yosef and not give him the dream exactly as he had it. Why? Why is he doing that? He's trying to get the answer. He's going out of his beanbags trying to get the answer. Why is he going out of his way to trick Yosef? Yosef did something which was unconscionable in Paro's mind and unconscionable in our world today. Yosef said, Hashem is in charge. Nobody wants to hear that. Not one guy wants to hear that. Unfortunately, many of us don't want to hear it either. Hashem is in charge. What was Yosef's response that got Paro so upset? Vayan Yosef el Paro lemor bilodai Elokim yaneh eshlom Paro. I don't do anything. It all comes from Hashem. Ein od milvado. Paro was so upset that he said Elokim yaneh eshlom Paro. He switched his language to Vayidaber. Once he realized at the end, skipping ahead, that Yosef's interpretation was of course correct, all the Mefarshim asked the question, how did he know it was correct? Because he originally had dreamt the interpretation and had forgotten it. Now he was simply reminding him of it, which is the easiest shot. But it's just as easy shot to explain this is that he realized that this is correct because it was so obvious, it was so straightforward, it was so in line, in tune with what he had seen, what he had experienced in his dream. And he says, thank you. Vayomer Paro el Yosef achrei hodia Elokim oschos. And now Paro says, achrei hodia Elokim oschos kosos ein novam chacham kamocha. And after that again, Vayomer Paro el Yosef ani Paro ubilodecha lo yorem ish yasod v'sragel b'chol eretz Mitzrayim. Paro had to admit that what Joseph said was correct. It wasn't easy, but that is our job. Your job, my job, all of our jobs. We have to make a Kiddush Hashem in the world so that the whole world will realize it's only from Hashem. I'm very happy that all of you guys have picked up on that lesson. Very happy. We have to constantly have the Shem Hashem Shogar Befinu. We have to have Hashem's name in our mouths. That's how Yaakov got into trouble with Yitzchak, but it doesn't matter. That's what we have to do. It's our job to make a Kiddush Hashem. And look at this one little shina in the Lashon, how the Pasuk drives us home. I'm glad I once intuited this idea. I haven't seen it anywhere else. So you can quote me on it if you like. Don't have to. But you heard it from me. But it's so interesting to look at these Lashonos and see what's right there, right beneath the surface, hiding there as a tremendous Musar Haskell for all of us. Something we should learn and take with us and make ourselves better people. It's Shabbos.